about Kyrie Irving and the state of the team in general, and had some really interesting comments. We've been sort of speculating what the Nets are going to do in this offseason. There was a lot of noise surrounding the team this year, obviously, and the end of the season was a disaster. So he talked about Kyrie Irving's future with the Brooklyn Nets.
We haven't had any of those discussions yet, so it'd be unfair for me to comment on, how it looks with us and Kyrie, because to be quite frank, he has some decisions to make on his own. So he has to look at what he's going to do with his player option and so forth like that. But I think we know what we're looking for. We're looking for guys that want to come in here, be part of something bigger than themselves, play selfless, play team basketball, and be available. And that goes not only for Kyrie, but for everybody here.
Some pretty specific words. We need people that want to be here, available, selfless, specific words that he used when discussing Kyrie Irving's future. This isn't terribly surprising when it comes to Kyrie. Kyrie chose not to play in 35 games this season, and they went 16-19 in those games. Entered the postseason as a 7 seed and got swept in the first rounds. They were the only team in the postseason to be swept this year with Kevin Durant and a star in Kyrie Irving on the roster. So there's consequences to actions. I know it's a really complicated, very divisive conversation that there are consequences to actions. It's not an idea that I made up. It's just reality. Every choice that you make has a consequence. If you choose to eat a burger every day for lunch instead of salad, there's going to be a consequence for that. If you choose to have a beer at lunch instead of a water, there's going to be a consequence for that. If you choose to take the shortcut over the long way, there's a consequence for that. It's not really an outlandish concept, and it applies to everything in life. Kyrie Irving made a choice. He wasn't forced. He didn't miss time because of injury. The Nets certainly didn't want to keep him out. It was a choice that he made to not play in those games and not be available for his team during the season. That was his choice. Well, that choice has consequences. And some of those consequences might be the organization doesn't trust that he is an available player. Of course, we have other evidence outside of this particular situation with the vaccine and him being unavailable for home games that Kyrie is going to prioritize Kyrie over everything else. Obviously, I am not somebody who believes that you are to have one interest in life. You're a basketball player and nothing else. Obviously, I don't believe that. I'm not just a television radio show host. I have lots of other interests. I have lots of things that I'm passionate about. I have lots of things that matter to me. And certainly there are things that matter much more in life than basketball or doing a television show. I firmly believe that. And I'm comfortable with Kyrie standing for whatever it is he wants to stand for. And if he believes that he should not get a vaccine and not be available to play basketball, I don't agree with it, obviously, but that's his choice. But that choice has a consequence. And when you are unavailable to your team, that's going to have a consequence. And it did, not only for where they were seated, because obviously they lost a lot without him being available, but how they performed in the postseason. You have to have continuity. You have to have chemistry. And not being available hurts those things. That's just the reality of the situation. So it is not surprising, especially considering Kyrie's reputation before he got to the Brooklyn Nets, that they would be questioning whether it's a good idea to give him 5 years, $247 million. I would not give Kyrie Irving a 5-year deal. Now, he has a player option, so if he declined his player option, he would be eligible to sign that 5-year max contract with the Nets. He also has a $36.5 million player option, so they would do a sign and trade type of situation if they moved on from Kyrie, which is what I would do. I am not sticking with Kyrie Irving for another 5 years. He is not a reliable person. He's not. He made that choice. Whatever you think about it, I do not care. I don't care what you do. Your choice. But those choices do have consequences. If I made a choice to not be available for most of the shows for 4 months, it would have a consequence on how they relied on me moving forward here at work. Because I chose not to come to work. Now, if I was sick and I physically couldn't come to work, I would expect some sort of empathy or flexibility from my employer because that's out of my control. That was not the situation here. So relying on Kyrie Irving as your number 2 guy, because obviously Kevin Durant is the number 1 here, moving forward and expecting to win a championship, I think is a mistake. I don't think that that's possible. Now, can Kyrie be a part of a championship team? Maybe, but not as your number one. And at this point, I don't believe you're number two. Not based off talent, not based off what he's capable of when he's on the floor and available. He's unbelievable. He's still capable of playing at a superstar level, without question. When he plays, he doesn't prioritize basketball and he doesn't prioritize his teammates. This is a team game at the end of the day. We are seeing this the most in this particular postseason. What happened with the Bucks last night? Team effort. Giannis was unbelievable. He gave the effort that he's always going to give, a superstar, best player in the league effort. The role guys stepped up. What did you see last night with the Memphis Grizzlies? They don't have Ja Morant, and they're up 55 against the Golden State Warriors. It is a team game at the end of the day, and Kyrie is not a team player. He has shown that time and time again. He's not someone who's reliable. Availability is your best skill, and that is not something that I would use. That's not an adjective I would use to describe Kyrie Irving. I think he's an incredible player when he's on the court. He does amazing things for the community. I don't think he's a bad person or a bad guy. He's just not someone you can build a championship team around. He can't be your number two. He can't be the guy that you have to go to. The regular season does matter as well. And what he did affected their season this year, a season that they had high expectations. They should have had success, and they did not. And not only did they not have success, they got swept in the first round. The only team to get swept. That is a significant consequence. Let's get to Alex Curry with the news. Now, look, these are mostly two very evenly matched teams. However, the outcome of that game last night, it was a battle. We got it all. You had the moments with Giannis and the blood. Just fix the cut, stop the bleeding. And he's going to go out there. He's a warrior. He's going to make it happen regardless. But you had all the drama last night, and it was amazing to watch. But I do think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves with who we're crowning as the overall reason for that win. Of course, Giannis is incredible. He's unbelievable. He's the best player in the league. 40-point performance. He's been unbelievable without Chris Middleton, which was a huge question mark when he went out, how they were going to be able to perform. But what I took away from that game last night wasn't that Giannis is amazing. We've seen Giannis be amazing in big moments. He proved all of that in the finals. The question with the Bucks was, without Chris Middleton, are they going to be able to have enough? Are the role players going to step up? Are you going to get big performances from Jrue Holiday? Where is Bobby Portis? You got all of that last night. And that's what's exciting about this Bucks team right now. Because when you lose a guy like Chris Middleton, you're number two. There's a lot of doubt that can seep in. I don't know how they're going to fare without him in the next round or moving forward, or if they make it to the finals. I do think they will need him back. But having the ability to have your role players step up in the biggest moment, to not have that fear when you're down in someone else's house, is a very, very big deal. And everyone should be nervous about how the Bucks are playing. Giannis, you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get a warrior. You know you're going to get a big performance. And that three he hit last night was ice in the veins. He's not a traditionally great three-point shooter, as we know. And he had no fear in taking that. They're going to give it to him. Fine, we'll take it. Jrue Holiday, huge performance at the end of the game. Huge defensive performance, which is what really is exciting to me. Obviously, we get caught up in the three-pointers and the offense and the exciting dunks and the big performances and high scoring. But making that play in a crucial moment, knowing where to be, knowing where the ball is going, and taking advantage of the Celtics inexplicably having the ball in Marcus Smart's hand at the end of the game is huge. They just never wavered. 14-point fourth quarter deficit to take the lead, win the game, and now they are up in the series and can close it out tomorrow night. Up 3-2 in the series against Boston. Giannis, 40 points, 11 rebounds. Holiday, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Just an unbelievable game all around by the Bucks. I'm very impressed with them. They've been there, and that's what championship level teams do. They have role players that step up in big moments, that make the big plays. You know what you're going to get from your star. What are you going to get from everyone else? And that's what you saw with the Bucks. Boston, however, whoa, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for a while. I do think that the Bucks are going to go on to win this series. And Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, called out his Celtics teammates last night.
And what did you see on that last play, too? It looked like he had the open lane to the hoop, and then Jrue kind of cut you off there. Did you even see him in your line of vision on the way to the hoop?
No, I didn't see him. It wasn't. The play was actually JT was supposed to come up and get it, but everybody was just standing around. And we had no timeouts, and it was a 5-second count on the way. So I just got open, tried to make a play. Drew did a good job of helping. That's it. Made a good play.
Now, I'm not putting that on Marcus Smart. He should not be the one with the ball in his hands at the end of the game, and that's what he's saying. Nobody's moving around. All right, I got to do something. I've got to try and make a play to try and win this game. So I'm not going to put that on him in this spot. It should never have been in his hands to begin with. That's not his role on this team. You have closers. They should be the ones with the ball in their hands. So I feel like this is a game that Boston will look on for a while and feel like they missed one. Now, look, this has been a really close series. Things could go the other way in the very next game tomorrow night, but that was a huge, huge win for the Bucks, and they know not to play around with the Celtics team. And I believe that they will do everything they can to try and close this out early in 6 games. So that was an exciting battle last night. The other game was, look, I don't know, I'm bragging about, I'm sure Memphis enjoyed every second of that. It was a snoozer for everyone else, but also just a very, very strange moment for a